Boom! Hey, what's up, guys? This is Emphasis from Casual Crypto Enthusiast, and I'm back with another Ecomi slash VV related video. And this one, I'm gonna get into a few things, but if you want to get into the main topic that I put in the title, just skip to the timestamp that I have in the description. But first, I want to talk about just speculate on the idea of the VEVEverse and what it could be. Obviously, I'm very excited about it. One thing that somebody in a previous video, a guy a few months ago in a previous video, he wasn't talking about VEVE, but he did a video that I thought was interesting when he was talking about Sandbox and Decentraland, where he was comparing it to Ready Player One and the potential of what that could be as far as, in the movie. For the people that haven't seen it, it's to briefly summarize it, it's a movie where like they're playing in a video game, but at the same time a lot of this stuff comes out into the real world, so you can be in the video game, like in this augmented reality. You can go buy, hypothetically, you could go just buy some random thing like a clothes or a suit or whatever that you see in the game, and then it will actually be sent to you in real life. That could be game changing, of course, especially if VEVE implements something of that nature, because none of these apps really have that yet necessarily. They kind of have it, I guess, but not for real. Like, that's a whole different ball game. If you're at that point where you're actually like fully entrenched in like a VR experience, and if you want to, you could just order some like fast food or whatever. If like you're having like a cheat day or whatever, you could just order some fast food, like some Panda Express or whatever, and have it just sent to you in real life. Like, that's game changer stuff. I think that's really interesting. There's a lot of different ways I think the VEVEverse is going to be interesting, especially when it comes to what could be done with like real estate, because I definitely want some digital land, man. I missed out on the opportunity to get in early on Decentraland, like as far as like the buying the land itself in the game and Sandbox. So now if you try to get it, it costs a lot more than it probably would have before. So I would like to get in early on the VEVEverse, and hopefully scoop up some solid land, scoop up some nice real estate out there in that virtual reality. I think that's really interesting, though. Let me know what you guys think about the different possibilities of what the metaverse can become, because I know Al Khan in the interview said he wanted to make it like kind of like a gift shop too, like Disney World, which makes sense. But at the same time, there has to be like other things in there that really pulls people in, that really makes people feel like they're in a brand new reality, the type of reality that people would look forward to more than their actual lives. That's gonna be what makes the real difference. People don't mind spending that money, but at the same time, there has to be certain things that make them feel way more interested in this virtual reality than their real life. So we'll see. I think there's of course many things they could do. Maybe they could implement like world building, but the type of world building where the players actually do it, like different games like Fortnite or whatever, or again, we'll see what they come up with. But the main topic I want to get into this video is actually kind of a suggestion on what I think VEVE should do. And I'm going to compare it to the SNKRS app. For the people that don't know, Nike has like an app. They've had it for a while. It's called SNKRS. I believe they spell it SNKRS is how they spell it. And, it's an app where you could, buy sneakers, and obviously, because it's Nike. But also they have other things on there where they want you to kind of engage with, like watching videos and stuff. But most people, they're using it because they want to get sneakers. But not just sneakers. They want to get exclusive drops. Like, they want to, get like exclusive drops that come out, like, like a couple years ago when like the Travis Scott dunks came out or whatever. They want those, obviously, because they want to flip them. But what ends up happening a lot of the times is 99% of the people that, well, not 99%, but the vast majority of people who use those apps and try to get those drops, they end up taking L's, aka they lost. They weren't able to successfully secure that sneaker drop. They weren't able to get it. And the vast majority of the time, the reason they're not able to get it is because there's a bunch of other people who have all these different bots that are automatically buying the sneakers right off the website as soon as it goes live. So you have this situation where these sneakers are dropping, and in like the blink of an eye, within seconds, they're selling out, which isn't physically possible for a human to be able to check out that quickly usually, which is what makes it so unfair for so many regular people who just want those sneakers, because not everybody's necessarily trying to flip those sneakers. Some people are just very passionate about sneakers and they want to get a certain pair, but they end up having to miss out because they're having to compete with freaking computers. And this is kind of what I feel is starting to happen with VEVE, because the vast majority of the time, like, most people are not getting the drops that they want. Like me, for example, I've only been able to successfully get one drop when it happens. It just happened a week ago, the Back to the Future 2 drop that had like the hoverboard, and I wasn't even able to get the ones that I wanted, because the only 2 out of those 5 that I wanted was the original hoverboard that Marty had, which is the one that I got, and then the Pitbull hoverboard that Griff had in Back to the Future 2. Those are the only 2 that I wanted. I wasn't able to get the Pitbull hoverboard, but I did get the regular one. But again, up until this point, most of all of the VEVE drops, for the most part, I end up taking L's. Like, I end up not getting the drop because it sells out so quickly. Even when I try to implement those little hacks that people in the VEVE and Ecomi community talk about, like changing your internal clock and doing all that other stuff. I've tried many of these things, and it's a lot of those things are hit or miss. And one thing that I was inspired to make this video about was because somebody who's in the the sneaker community, he has a channel called Untied Hawaii. I've been subscribed to him for a while now, but he did a video a few weeks back talking about the Nike conspiracy theory, where he was calling out because the sneakers app, Nike and the sneakers app, they had put out a video where they were trying to make themselves look better by saying, oh, here's what you could do to have a better chance at getting our drops. And he, like many people in the sneaker community, they laughed at it and they just shrugged it off, because everybody knows that the advice that they gave in that document was BS advice. Like, that stuff doesn't actually work. And he made a suggestion in that video that I thought was very, very interesting. I'm gonna put a link here to his video. If you're into sneakers, or if you're just curious, I would suggest you check it out. But he put a suggestion in there that I thought was really interesting, and the suggestion that he put in there for the sneakers app was, he was saying, okay, you guys should implement some sort of system to where every time somebody takes an L and they don't successfully get a drop for the sneakers that they want, they should be able, that should give them a certain amount of points, and after a certain amount of time, those points could be redeemed for a specific drop that they're really looking forward to, so they don't even have to worry about trying to get it and you trying to get it and trying to beat the sneaker bots, because they've already reserved their spot and they're gonna automatically get it. I thought that was really smart, and I think that's a really good idea, because it could still give people hope, because you got to understand, after a certain amount of time, it's gonna start to really piss people off that this app is so broken, which is why a lot of people are starting to use Nike sneaker app less and less, because what's the point of getting it if the majority of the time you're losing to bots every single time. And I think VEVE has to be very careful, because they could end up in that same scenario where a lot of people just start to get frustrated, because you start to feel like, yo, it feels like I'm losing to bots every time, that's really what it feels like a lot of times, because I've tried all those little hacks that people talk about doing, and again, like I said, those things are like hit and miss. Most of the time it doesn't work for me no matter what I really do, which is, of course, could be very frustrating, because it's like, yo, I'm trying to I'm trying to get some of these drops too, of course, and I don't want to have to buy it for triple and quadruple and quintuple the price on the marketplace. So I think VEVE should definitely add something like that. That would be really cool, in my opinion, to add like some sort of point system where every time you take an L and because you didn't get the drop, those points add up over time. So if you missed out on maybe like 10 drops, now you have like 10 points, and that 10 points is enough to redeem a certain drop in the future. I think that would be really cool. So for example, right, let's say like a Spider-Man drop comes out, right? Okay, let's say I miss 10 drops in a row on VEVE. I take an L on 10 drops in a row. Let's say that there's an upcoming Spider-Man drop that I'm really looking forward to, because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time. okay, I want to, like, it would be really dope to have the opportunity to redeem those 10 points that I got from those L's to reserve my spot for the Spider-Man drop. That way I don't even have to worry about you know, hitting the buy button right in time, or you know, all these other different hacks like the clock gate and all, like, you know, like the clock gate and all that other stuff. You don't even got to worry about that, because at that point you already reserved your spot and you earned your spot, because you already took all those L's and you saved up for this moment, for this drop that you really were looking forward to. Because, you know, again, to be fair, I'm really not interested in like all these different drops that VEVE does. I do get some of them, you know, if I think the art is cool, or if I just think it'll be more valuable down the line. But like, a lot of those drops aren't necessarily drops that I'm super passionate about, but sometimes there are drops that I'm passionate about, like the Back to the Future drops. I'm so passionate about the Back to the Future drops that I pay like double or triple for the interactive, for the life-size interactive DeLorean, because again, like I said, that's my favorite movie of all time. So like, I actually do want to get that. But it just sucks that, like, you know, the vast majority of the time, most people, they're starting to have a similar experience to what people experience on the sneakers app, where they're taking all these L's. And I really do think the VEVE, the team behind VEVE and the Ecomi, I really do hope that they add some sort of feature down the line where they make it a point system. Like, it's good to learn. It's good to learn from people's mistakes. You know, a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So I really do think that they should consider something like that again. You know, and definitely, you know, if you're watching this video, you know, tag all the other people that are a part of the development team on Ecomi and VEVE, like Reese and all those other guys. Like, make sure you guys tag them, and you know, let them know if you agree with what I'm saying. If what I'm saying makes sense to you, of course. But, you know, let them know, you know, like, that this is something that they should consider, because I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, so I'm gonna wrap this video up. I didn't expect to talk for that long, but you know, this is yeah. So make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe, and let me know in the comment section below, you know, how do you feel about that suggestion? Do you think that makes sense? Do you think that would actually help? Because I don't know about you guys, but for me, that would make me that much more excited, though. Because even if I take an L, I know, okay, you know, after a certain amount of L's, I'll have enough points to get a specific drop that I want. Because you know, no matter who you are, there's gonna be certain drops that you care about more than others. Like I just said, Back to the Future is my favorite movie, so I care about that drop a lot more than, you know, freaking Tokidoki. I don't care about that. You know, if they do a Spider-Man drop, I'm gonna care about the Spider-Man drop a lot more than the Superman drop, because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. So, you know, yeah, that's it, man. You know, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and let me know what your thoughts are on this.